Karametra, God of Enchantments, versus Krenko Mob Boss. Not sure if we're going to be overrun by Krenko here, especially with this slow hand. We do have Maze of Ith though, but Krenko likes to go wide. I think we'll keep this and just hope that we can ramp quickly into things. Karametra tends to, or this build of Karametra Enchantments wants to sit back for quite a few turns and gain control of the board over the course of a few turns. We'll just have to see what we draw into. Hope that our opponent doesn't have an incredibly fast start, which is probably going to be the case against goblins. Krenko taps for nothing. You just tap it and you create X/1/1 red goblin creature tokens, where X is the number of goblins you control. It's 4 mana for a 3/3, and our opponent is on the play, which is exactly what goblins want, so we'll have to just try and keep up. No turn 1 goblin, which is fine with me. And Utopia Sprawl wants to enchant a forest, so I think I don't mind going for... Let me just check what... I forget what all these different land auras do. It adds one of it. Yeah, in that case I will just go for a basic forest. Seems a little bit redundant to put something like a Utopia Sprawl that gets you extra mana onto something that already taps for the manas of the chosen colour. For instance, putting an enchantment onto a Sun Petal Grove and making it tap for white mana when it already does that seems a little bit... I don't know, it doesn't feel very good. We can go for 2 mana there. Overgrowth enchants a land. Yeah, I don't mind putting that onto a plains. So we'll just do that and spread out our good lands, just in case they have any targeted removal. That will be 3, 4, 5, so we can actually get Karametra out next turn, along with probably a tap land from the Arid Mesa. But we'll see what our opponent does. Oh, Wheel of Fortune. Okay, so scratch that. Actually drawing to an Eternal Witness there, so if we wanted to get the Maze of Ith or the Corsair of Kruphix back, we can do that. We can also Lignify Krenko, which is excellent. So this isn't... Yeah, our opponent actually slightly helped us there. We get into Sigil of the Empty Throne, which I actually think... Yeah, I actually think I want to get into that. Where are we here? That's 5 mana. Yeah, Sigil of the Empty Throne into an untapped Jewel. Then we can get Soul Snare out. Where are we here? We want Savannah. I hate how Magic Online loads up your library so incredibly small. Yeah, we get into an Angel there. Sigil of the Empty Throne can do a hell of a lot of work in this deck, and it's a card that I've always wanted to use but could never warrant putting it into any decks. An Enchantress build is exactly what you want to be putting it into. Whenever you cast an enchantment spell, you get a 4/4 white angel creature token with flying. Always yield to the Mana Crypt trigger. Yeah, the first build of this Karametra deck was more of a creature style, getting Karametra's trigger triggered. Whenever you cast a creature spell, you can put a forest or a plains from your library into play. So it was basically some kind of ramp deck, and we would just be able to cast literally anything in our deck that we drew into. It didn't run as great as I would like it, and I actually played it against Jolt, who uploads 1v1 Commander content. I have to imagine that I think he has something like 7,500 subscribers now, so if you're following this channel, I have to imagine that you watch Jolt as well. Krenko going out with some haste effects. I don't mind that, because we can get Lignify onto it, and there's not a whole lot red is going to do about that. But yeah, the creature build of this deck I ran against Jolt. He was running Grin, I think it was. So you can go and check that out if you want to see what happened there. I won't spoil it for anyone who cares about going and watching it. But wasn't happy with the old Karametra build, so I rebuilt it as an Enchantress deck, and it works very well. I'm very much enjoying it. Let's just see how much mana we have here. Okay, we have 6 mana, so we can Eidolon of Blossoms into Lignify, get some card draw on the go. So let's just tap all these down, make sure that we tap for the correct amount. We need to leave green open. And the great thing about Eidolon of Blossoms is not only does it allow you to get some card draw on the go when you play other enchantments, but it also cantrips when it enters itself. And there we go, we get the card draw off the Eidolon of Blossoms, and we can play the Misty. Actually, that was a mistake. Should have got the Stirring Wildwood out there, because we're only going to get a tap land off the Misty. I was being a little bit hasty there. But not to worry, we'll just go in with our Angel. And yeah, I think we've managed to stem what would have been the bleeding with Krenko. Krenko can so easily go out of control so quickly. Luckily for us, mono red isn't going to do a whole lot against enchantments. There's obviously colourless spells and artifacts and things like that can get rid of enchantments, but I can't imagine Krenko's running a whole lot of those. Maybe there's some sacrifice effect. They can sack a creature. They could sack Krenko and then replay it, but we do have recursion, one of which the recursion effect's in our hand, Eternal Witness, so we can get things back from the graveyard. And one of the newer, if not the newest Lord for goblins, you can... Oh, and there we go. Sacrifice, but I don't think Krenko... Yeah, Krenko's not a goblin now, so that won't do it for our opponent. Yeah, they can destroy artifacts. We only have 1 artifact in this deck. Yeah, and that's what I was afraid of. I wanted to get Greater Auramancy out to keep things like this from occurring. Tarfire will get rid of Eidolon of Blossoms. I think but that's not terrible. We can get Eternal Witness out. Oh, actually, we have Monk Idealist. Yeah, I completely forgot about that. So as soon as this enters the battlefield, we can get Eidolon of Blossoms back into our hand. We have 2, 4, 6, maybe 7 mana next turn. Oh, actually 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 mana, maybe 8 next turn. So that would be 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, we'll see what happens. I think we will just go for the Monk Idealist and the Greater Auramancy to help protect our enchantments from being burned like only red can do. Our opponent is surely not going to swing in here. Yeah, we'll go for the tap land off of the Misty Rainforest, which should be a Stirring Wildgrove, but I made a mistake last turn. Get the Scattered Groves into play because it always comes into play tapped. We don't want to draw it later and have to play a tap land when we're desperate for extra mana. Okay, that's 2 tap lands in our hand. So we'll just go for the Monk Idealist. We'll tap this down because that taps for 3 mana. Monk Idealist gets us our Eidolon of Blossoms back. And then we will go for the Greater Auramancy. And we'll go for Stirring Wildwood because Fortified Village may be able to come into play untapped next turn if we draw into a forest or a plains that we can reveal. And we'll just hold up mana for the Soul Snare and swing in with our miniature Angel Army. What's that? 4, 8, 12. That's actually our opponent dead next turn if they can't draw into answers for these angels. Sigil of the Empty Throne does a hell of a lot of work in this deck. 5 mana is a lot, but would you play a 5 mana card to get 4 angels out just for doing something that the deck already does in playing enchantments? I think it's proven itself worthy in this game alone. Yeah, very good card. I'm not really sure what our opponent can do here. Ringleader. Enters the battlefield, reveal the top 4 cards, put all goblins. Yeah, I just don't know what our opponent can get here. I'm rooting for them and hope that they can get something interesting. Okay, Sting Scourger, Rummaging Goblin, and Wily Goblin. Okay, our opponent going for Wily Goblin. That is a new one. When it enters the battlefield, create a colourless treasure. Yeah, okay, that's fine. That's actually a pretty good goblin. 2 red for a 1/1, but when it enters, it kind of pays for half of its mana cost when the treasure enters. So that's actually a pretty interesting goblin. I'll wait for our opponent to pass priority to us. There we go, and now 3 mana available. They can go for either the Rummaging Goblin, which is tap, discard and draw, or Sting Scourger is an echo cost creature, but it costs 2 to put out for a 2/2, and when it enters, return a target creature an opponent controls to its owner's hand. Even if they return one of our angels, I don't think that's going to do anything. So maybe our opponent's just thinking about what they should do here. Yeah, they see that there's nothing else they can do, so we managed to pull out a win there against Krenko, which I'm happy about. That Lignify did... I mean, just imagine that game again, but without the Lignify. We might have still been able to pull it out because we had the angels, but they would have just gained so many goblins from all these goblins that they're playing in 1/1 token form and then getting buffed by lords and things like that. I think they would have just been able to go wide on us, so Lignify doing some work there. I hope you enjoyed this Enchantress Karametra deck. I'm tribalkai on the EDH channel. Thank you for watching.